We're now going to have a look at Unit 3, Lesson 3 overview. Because this is a new unit, we're going to look at the big picture, the UBD, the simplified scale, and the scope and sequence. So we're going to begin with our big picture. If you'll notice here at the top, we're still in our first 9 weeks. Unit 3 can be found at the end of the first 9 weeks. As we scroll down, we'll find the middle of week 7 is where Unit 3 begins. The lesson that we're going to be specifically talking about in this video is the ladder method, finding the GCF and the LCM, which is lesson 3. If you'll notice here, that is 4 days of instruction during week 8. So let's look now at our UBD. Our UBD gives us our goals, our meaning, and our acquisition for Unit 3. The goals are just simply the new Alabama course of study standards listed. The meaning is what students will understand throughout this unit, essential questions, what they will answer throughout the unit, and then acquisition talks about our knowledge, what students will know at the conclusion of the unit, and the skills that they will be able to do at the end of the unit. If you would take a moment, pause the video and read through your UBD so you'll have a better understanding of where we're going when we get into lesson 3. Here we have our cover page or simplified scale. You can see here Math 6 Unit 3, Factors, Multiples, and Exponents. It's the title of our unit. It is 12 days of instruction plus assessment time for a total of 13 days. Below that, you'll find the vocabulary that will be addressed throughout the unit. Then we move on to our concept checklist. Here we have our self-assessment for the students. 4 being I can teach someone. Those are your students that are exceeding this standard. They know the standard, they fully understand it, and they can turn around and teach it to another student. 3 is that I can do it on my own. That's your proficient students. That's where you want your students to reach. Your 2 is I can do it, but I need some hints. Those are the students that are kind of getting the concept, but they still need a few hints. They need a little bit of guidance. And then you got your 1s, and those are the students that just aren't there yet. This is used to drive your instruction. You know where your students are, and you know where you need to get them to. If we scroll on down here, we find ladder method, finding the greatest common factor and least common multiple on days 4 through 7. Here you have your kid-friendly I can statements, and those are referenced throughout this lesson, and really focus on those so you can make sure that the students are meeting those standards, that they are getting what they need to get. All right, let's move on. This is actually the first lesson, but I want to show you this so you can see again the 12 days of instruction plus assessment time. This unit should wrap up in 13 days. And then your unit note here. Your unit note comes from research-based information dealing with factors, multiples, and exponents. So take a moment, pause the video, and read through the unit note for me. We're now going to look at the scope and sequence for Unit 3, Lesson 3. And here you'll see that it is finding the GCF and LCM for a total of 4 days. You have your Alabama course of study, the new course of study, and then a teacher note. And the teacher note just kind of gives you an overview of what you're going to be doing throughout this lesson. Here you have your prerequisites along with your materials needed, which will be found in Canvas as well. And then we move on to our presentation strategy. We're going to focus today on day 1 by beginning the lesson with direct instruction using the ladder method strategy to find the GCF and LCM of 2 or more numbers. Students will complete the guided practice page as the teacher is going through the PowerPoint. So that's where we'll focus today in training. Also, you'll see day 2 has its presentation strategies, and then you have your day 3 and 4 presentation strategies as well.